Hey everybody, it's Harold from Living in Hill Country. Let's give you that garden tour for the week. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right here in the Hill Country of Texas. Well, we'll go ahead and get started over here by the watermelon and the cantaloupe, and you'll see that they've pretty much just taken over the trellis. And we do have fruits starting to form, and there's a cantaloupe right there that's growing. Here's our first watermelon over here that's growing there. We have another one down over there on the bottom, but you'll notice that I have them kind of supported by some, it's kind of like a macrame plant holder thing that I got online at Amazon, I think, and I think I got 3 for $5, I think is what it was. But I got 9 of them, and I've used all but I think 3 of them so far, and I know I'm going to be needing more. I don't know if I'm going to go with these. I'll probably just go with nylons or something to that effect. But anyway, you'll notice here another one, another cantaloupe that's growing. Another one here, and I just have them hung up on the trellis there with those are T-post wire anchors. That's what I use for that. But anyway, that's how this has turned out so far. Hopefully we'll get some good fruit out of here. Like to see more watermelon show up, and I'm sure they will, but it's still kind of early in the season. But the cantaloupe are really blowing up. I mean, they're all over. Here's another one here starting, and they just seem to be popping up. The pollinators are doing really well for us over here. Okay, so that's how that's going, and let's go over to the other portion of the garden. So I kind of wanted to start right here. This is what we call our salad bed. I don't know. We don't know what else to call it anyway, or I don't know what else to call it. Here's where we grow our spinach and our lettuces. So you notice down over there, I don't know if you can see them, but there's some carrots down over here. And then I've planted a couple of rows of radishes in here. But you'll notice I put a shade cloth on here. It is now the end of May, and we're going to be starting in June and July, and that's starting of the heat up season here in Texas. Now it's been pretty hot already, been in the 90s, and even got up in the high 90s a couple of weeks back, and it really played a hard case on our lettuce. As you know, lettuce needs to stay cool to grow, and it's been just a challenge here. But I went out and I purchased a couple of shade cloths. They're 50%, I believe, 50% shade cloths, or no, excuse me, they're 40% shade cloths, and you'll see that I have them attached to my little greenhouse, PVC greenhouse. I already had the bird netting on there, right? I've already seen that. But now we have the shade cloth that I attached on there, and the beds are a little bit longer than 8 foot, and I just got the 6x8 shade cloth, so that's why they don't go all the way to the ends, which I feel is fine. It's still providing some shade that it needs. But as you can tell, you can see our carrots. I don't know if you can see it through the shade cloth or not. I could probably get around over this way, but our carrots are doing well in there. And there's where the radishes are that I planted there. We'll get around this side. Maybe this will help. Planted some more spinach the other day. It's just starting to come up. So the shade cloth seems to be helping a little bit. I mean, the last couple of days it's been about 90, 89 and 90 degrees, and it's supposed to get warmer than that. So we'll see how the shade cloth helps out, and I'll just come out every morning and water this down pretty good. And then maybe in the afternoon I might mist it up a little bit, mist the lettuce and stuff like that up a little bit just to try and keep it cool. I think I'm going to set up a misting system running down the center through the PVC, right, and to where it'll mist onto the plants. But anyway, enough of that. Over here we planted some zinnias, dwarf zinnias in these pots here. I just planted those like a week ago. They're starting to come up there, so hopefully we'll see some flowers come out of that. I'll be able to hang some pots there. Here is the banana peppers. They are still kind of struggling, but they seem to be coming out of the, I don't know, the funk that they were at, I guess. So they seem to be maturing up a little bit, so hopefully we'll still be able to get some peppers out of those. It's still early yet for them to get going, but they'll get going. Poblano peppers here, doing well, coming along. You'll see them start to really bolt up and grow really good. And then of course the strawberries, they're doing really well. They're shooting out or putting out their little shoots, I guess you could call them. I don't know what they call them, but anyway, they're doing well. They produce some strawberries for us, and we ate quite a few strawberries, and then I've transplanted them into this box. They were in containers like that. We transplanted them into this box, and it kind of stunned them a little bit, but now I see that they're coming back, and they seem to be doing rather well. These are ever-bearing, so I don't know how they'll do when it gets to be the dog days of summer, if they'll produce or not. We'll keep an eye on them. But if it's, in the fall, they'll produce, and maybe throughout the winter. I know that they'll survive the winter because some of these did. Anyway, here's the giallo. I can never pronounce that. Peppers there. You'll notice there's only 3 plants growing in this. There were 5 planted. We had a squirrel get in there and dig up the dirt around the 2 that were, one was planted in the center, one off to the right. Anyway, enough of that. Here are the giant green peppers. They are doing really well. They're starting to take off. So we're happy to see that. Seen some blossoms come up there. You can see that or not. But we should be able to see some fruit come off of those. So we'll be happy to see if we can grow some good-sized green peppers. Probably saw in the background over here is the okra. This is the Clemson spineless okra, and we've just had quite a bit of okra come off of there, and it's still, I mean, we could probably take 3 or 4 pieces off each one of these plants, every 2 or 3 days. There is the red crimson okra. You can see some growing under there. I hope this comes out, but they sure put out some pretty flowers or blossoms. They really draw in the pollinators. We'll get around this other side. Here is the bush beans. They're just about done. Harvested probably, I'm going to say 10 pounds, 5 to 10 pounds of green beans off of here. We have them frozen in the freezer now. They're really good, really tasty. But I think these are on their, there are a few that I'm waiting to to mature so that I can do the final harvest on these. And then I don't know what I'm going to put in here yet. If you have an idea, kind of shoot me some comments on what I should start here. Now just remember, we're getting into the dog days of summer, and don't know what we can or could not grow here. So anyway, here we go back over here. Here's that Clemson spineless, not Clemson, the burgundy okra again. Here's our yellow pear tomatoes, and I need to top these off so that they'll bush out more. They're shooting up, and we've done that because of the heat. But we do have some fruit growing. That's positive. And here's our butternut winter squash, or butternut squash. Gonna have quite a bit of that this year, looks like, which is always good. Okay, then we'll get over here to our gentry. Still producing. Haven't seen any sign of any squash bugs or vine borer attack. I did thin them out a little bit, as you can tell. Rerouted them a little bit because they were growing. That slowed them down, but they're all producing still. Looks like a pollinator's in there with his fill. Back there. And this one here, that one didn't get pollinated there, but alright, so here we got our Roma's tomatoes. They're getting some fruit on them. Saw a little bit of blossom end rot on a couple of them, and I picked them and threw them out, but I would never believe that I didn't have enough fertilizer or enough water in them. Water them not every day maybe, but at least every other day. And my Rutgers tomatoes are struggling. I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen any spider mites or anything of that sorts. They just haven't done well. I don't know if maybe they're not getting enough sunlight, but I just don't know what's going on with them. They're just not growing like I expected them to. I'm going to top these off as well. It looks like they've bolted because of the hot weather that we had a few weeks ago, or the last few weeks, and so maybe we can get them to make a U-turn, I guess, and see if we can to get them to produce some tomatoes for us. So there's my marigolds. They have in these baskets that it really gets dry, and you can tell it's windy out and it gets warm. These baskets, or whatever they are, buckets, hanging buckets, they really dry out fast, and it's hard to stay up on. You could water these twice a day, but you know, they look, if I stay on top of it, they look a lot better than that, but I think they're doing okay. They're doing what I want. These over here, excuse me, are doing better. Of course, they're planted in the ground, so they're able to get a little more moisture, I guess. Okay, so that brings us back over here. My rain barrel, it rained last week, I think it was. Week before last. And it poured and it filled these buggers up. They were empty. And it rained 2 days in a row and filled those up, so those are full. Here's the peas. Dandy pea, they call them. I don't know. I've never successfully grown a pea. I guess. Well, I've never really tried. But they're putting on their blossoms now. Really pretty white blossoms. Really pretty flowers. We'll see what we get out of those. And then the corn. As you can tell, whoops, as you can tell, it's tasseled out and actually is starting to grow ears. Here's the corn. Here within the next few weeks, we'll be able to harvest some corn. Of all the crops I like growing is corn. I like corn, sweet corn. This is not one of my best crops. My very first year of gardening, the crop seemed better, but we'll see how the yield comes out, and take it from there. My small garden. Oh, I got one more thing I need to show you. Over here, I pulled some hostas out of our front. We have a area in the front by a tree that we planted some hostas, and the deer would come across the street into our yard and shoot these right down to nothing last year. And they started coming back up. I figured, well, maybe we're okay, because we planted them a little bit late in the season last year. Maybe we'll be okay. They'll be able to get ahead of the deer. Well, that didn't happen. The deer came in, or the rabbits, I don't know, came in and chewed them up. But I planted those back here by this tree, so we'll see how that comes out. Put a little fence around there. That's just to keep the dogs out of there. They have a tendency to want to run through there. So that's the garden tour for this week. Thank you for coming along. If you appreciated the video, give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to the channel and do all that stuff if you like. If not, that's okay too. We're going to keep you along as much as possible whenever I have time to get a video out to you. We're going to do that and kind of show you the progress and our changes through. I think we're going to try and extend this a little bit if I could get the boss to agree to that. Maybe get about I'd like to get about 3 more raised beds in here, and maybe some more containers. Do some container gardening and a little more production throughout the year. So we'll keep you on board for that. Got a lot of stuff going on out at the ranch, so I'm a little bit restricted on my time as far as making videos. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your support. And as always, God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful day.